Hello, wonderful people. It is Mark here from Not Defining. Listen, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to see you. This is the place where we talk all about sexuality, gender, love, relationships, mental health, self-confidence, and so much more, delving deep into those less understood parts so that we can all understand ourselves more. And today I want to talk about that intersection between romantic attraction and sexual attraction. Oftentimes we get the two mixed up or we conflate them. And so as a specialist sexuality coach, I want to just extract them a bit so that we can understand what they are and kind of how they both work together and individually. So the first thing to say is that scientifically, and this has been proven, okay, by rigorous academic research, scientifically, romantic attraction is not necessarily connected with sexual attraction. Okay, they are actually two separate things. Now, in a lot of our culture and our society, we are taught that the two have to go together, right? So if you have sex with someone, you have to be in love with them first, yeah? Or if you are heterosexual, it means that you are sexually attracted and romantically attracted to the different gender. But scientifically, that is actually not the case. If you think about it, just in layperson's terms, we can see that that's not actually the case. Sexual attraction can occur, in fact, it often occurs without romantic love. You know, you could be sexually attracted to a picture of someone or some adult content. So you don't have to have romantic attraction to be sexually attracted to someone. Similarly, you don't have to have romantic attraction always to the same gender. You know, a lot of bisexual people, we may have sexual attraction to one gender, but we may have romantic attraction to another. We may be biromantic. Okay? Similarly, when people actually have sex, it's not always a particularly romantic thing. Okay? Similarly, if we look at different cultures, it is actually quite a modern Western construct to say that you have to be romantically attracted to your sexual partner. In many cultures and at many times in many places throughout the world, sex and relationships did not have to be romantic. You know, a lot of countries in the world have arranged marriages, okay, where marriage and relationships are more of an economic and social bond, okay? And so you don't actually have to be romantically in love with your partner, right? So romance and sex really don't actually go together very often. And that's just looking at it through a kind of everyday person's lens. The science also backs that up. So the studies show that actually you can experience romantic attraction to anyone of any gender, regardless of what your sexual orientation may be. Most people have a sexual orientation to one specific gender, okay, or they may be bisexual, but for most people it is kind of relatively set, whereas the studies show that romantic attraction is actually very diverse and it never gets set with anyone regardless of your orientation. So you might be a heterosexual man, okay, and you are exclusively attracted to women on a sexual level. But scientific studies will show that you have the perfectly able capacity to experience romantic attraction to a man, even if you are exclusively heterosexual. And so a lot of people be kind of weirded out by that. By the way, if you'd like more information in lots and lots of detail about this and other topics, then head to my Patreon, where I have an in-depth Reveal All podcast where I go super deep into all my perspectives, also into my personal life and experience. I would love to see you. You can also speak to me one-on-one. You can chat with other people who might be interested in these kind of topics as well. The link is up there. Come and join us, patreon.com/notdefining. And so this is the science. This is the science. And a lot of people think this is really weird. But if you also look at the way that we experience romantic attraction, what are we actually talking about? Romantic attraction is just a very strong emotional bond, right? It's a very, very deep intimacy with somebody. Yeah, it's a very strong affection or love for someone. Yeah, and as we've seen, it really doesn't have to correlate with sex at all. And so you can experience that with someone of any gender. The concept of the bromance is very interesting in kind of modern Western culture, because it's almost admitting that heterosexual men experience romance. They experience romance together, but they call it a bromance, and that is a linguistic tool to say, okay, this is a deep bond of affection. This is a very, very close, loving relationship, but it's not a sexual one. Okay, so in calling it a bromance and creating this new derivation of the word, what people are doing is they're saying, do you know what? I can have romantic feelings to someone of the same gender, but it's not necessarily sexual, or they're not necessarily going to be my partner. So romantic attraction is possible really with anyone at any time. So what is romantic attraction? Well, like we said before, romantic attraction is really just a strong emotional bond. But I think most of us would differentiate romantic attraction from, let's say, a really, really close friend or someone that we felt very, very affectionate for. This is going to be different depending on who you are, how you express romantic love, how you express your feelings, what culture you come from, and so on. But I would say that a romantic attraction is really when you're talking about this person is a special person in your life, and perhaps this person is the main person in your life. Okay? I think that tends to be the difference. It's saying, I have a deep affection for you, I have a deep love for you, and I feel like you are very special to me and might be the main special person in my life. That's how I often think about it. Now, I'd love to hear what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How would you define romantic attraction? Given that it's not connected to sex, it's not connected to your orientation, it can be different to different people, different genders, different cultures. That's the best explanation that I have, and I would love to hear what you think. And finally, it's worth mentioning that not everyone experiences romantic attraction at all. Okay, so you have asexual people who don't experience sexual attraction or experience it to a very low degree. And you also have aromantic people. Okay, that's people who just don't experience that kind of romantic love. And it's quite understandable because, as we've discussed, it's a very intangible thing. You can't quite put your finger on it. And so for aromantic people, it's very hard to understand what people are talking about when they talk about romantic love. You know, we see it in the media, we see it in our storybooks, in our fairy tales, in our films, our movies, our books, our everything. Whereas for a lot of people, they just don't feel it. So you don't have to feel romantic attraction. You also don't have to feel romantic attraction to all genders or one gender or the gender that you're sexually attracted to or the gender that you're not sexually attracted to. It doesn't have to follow any specific pattern. Romantic attraction is just something that people have the capacity to feel. It may happen in many, many different ways. And I think that's kind of the joy of it. If we understood it too deeply, then it wouldn't be as magical as it is. So let's continue to have romantic attraction as a bit of a mystery. I hope that this has been helpful. If anyone, like I say, would like more help, then please come subscribe. We have loads more content like this coming out. Come and join our Patreon, or you can come speak with me one-on-one for coaching. My link is below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you again very soon. Bye for now.